Jayasuriya, the CEO founder of Women Empowered Global. And I am super excited today because we have a phenomenal topic with a phenomenal lady, Samia Hasan. And the conversation with her today is on brand building for new business owners. So, Samia, we just want to welcome you on behalf of Women Empowered Global.
Thank you so much, Senela, for inviting me, and looking forward, super excited, to be able to connect with your community, to speak to everyone, to listen to their stories. Very excited.
Fantastic. I'm going to introduce to you Samia. Samia Hasan is the CEO and founder of Unwind the Grind, a millennial career development platform offering an interactive and inspiring place for young folks based in UAE to accelerate their careers and business. And she's a certified strength strategy coach, neuro-linguistic programming practitioner, and IPCC from ICF. And after completing her MBA in marketing, she started her career in Procter & Gamble. As a budding thought leader, Samia also writes about careers, startup topics pertaining to millennials as a regular contributor at Huffington Post, Thomson Reuters, and Entrepreneur MNE. And that's just tip of the iceberg to her accolades, and we're so excited to have you on our global partner network as well, Samia. And we sync so well and resonate so well in empowering millennials and also in the conversation of brand building for empowerment.
Thanks for having me. So I think I've been in marketing through and through. Like you mentioned, I did my MBA in marketing, worked with P&G for about 10 years. And it's different when you're working with a large multinational corporation, learning getting all the exposure and accountability and travel and building brands, to then take all that learning and everything and start your own business. And there's a lot of marketing and 20,000 other things involved in launching your business. So, I keep telling people you're the CEO of your company, but you're also the PN, the admin, the receptionist, the, doing invoices and every single thing. So there's a huge, obviously, learning curve as you do that. So with Unwind the Grind now, it's been 3 years, and I shifted gears as well a bit because I was in brand management marketing, and now I'm, let's say, more in people development, HR, leadership development. So I work with individuals one-on-one as a career coach, and I also work with organizations looking to engage their millennial workforce, looking to build their leadership capabilities, and motivate and retain their workforce. So it's been an interesting journey, quite a journey. And so today I want to talk to you guys about marketing again, and I will cover from both perspectives. So let's say a brand building framework on how brands are built, and we will look at, and feel free to jump in with your own examples as well. We will look at products, services, big brands, small brands, and also how, as an entrepreneur, you need to brand yourself as a person and your products and services. So with that, let's get started. And I'll be sharing the framework in a bit, but before we do that, I want to first start with why branding, why brands are so important, why we need brands. So first things first, what is a brand? A brand, and how brand is different from a product. A brand is basically the perception of your product, your service in your consumers' minds. So it's basically defined as your customer's perception of your business. And as we know, perception is reality. So your brand reality might be different to you. Your desired reality of what you want your brand to stand out in your consumers' minds could be different, but what they perceive is what your brand is. And Jeff Bezos, who's the founder of Amazon, says it really well, like your brand is what other people say about you when you're not in the room. So that's your image, it could be your personal brand, it could be your brand in terms of your product and service as well. But what differentiates a brand from a product is that a product is a product. It has functions, it has benefits, it does a few things, but your brand is so much more than a product, because your brand tells a story. It tells the story of why your business exists, why that product or service exists, and the answer should always be a story that is rooted in purpose. And the story shapes your reason for existence. Storytelling, as we know, is all the rage. And basically, your story is about creating a connection, an emotional connection with your customers. You need to tell your story in a way that it engages with your customers, so they relate to you, they understand you, they like you. Because very few things can communicate that level of engagement like a story can. And when we look at examples like brands that really stand out in telling good stories, Nike, over the years, consistent story of empowering, of doing more, of doing whatever you want, just do it. And how they have, over the years, told the story with multiple different people in different environments, different times, but yet at the same time, it still evokes that positive emotion. It's still very inspiring, very provocative. And that's how, not only it's a good lesson in terms of how to tell a story, how to stand for a purpose, but how to do it consistently over time. Another example is Tom's, the shoe brand. So the tagline, 1 for 1, says it all, right? That for every pair of Toms that you buy, 1 pair is going to be given for charity. And the brand is making it really clear that they exist to improve people's lives. So that's their purpose. And I'm starting first and foremost with the purpose, because purpose is something that stands right at the top of yourself, as you define your purpose of why you exist. And as you define the purpose for your company, for why your company exists and why you're doing this. For instance, in my case, I'll give my own personal example. As much as I love marketing and I really enjoyed my time in Procter, by the end of it, I really was struggling to find meaning and fulfillment in what I was doing. And I was gravitating naturally more and more towards people development. So even within the company, I started doing a lot more training, mentoring, coaching, leading a big team, developing people, recruiting as well. And then when I left the company, I had to do a lot of inner work and soul searching and, working on myself to see what is my purpose, what am I suited to do in terms of what are my gifts, what are my passion, what are my values, what is the sweet spot where all of these could come together. And I found that it is people development. It is making a visible, tangible difference in people's lives. So that's why I chose what I'm doing. So now when I am my own product, because I'm a service and I, do consulting and coaching, it's so important for people to connect to my story and to connect to my purpose. And it's not a surprise that 3 years into my business, more than 80% of my clients come to me for career change, because my story is rooted in change, in career change, that how I built or had a, let's say, seemingly successful career path, and it was very prestigious and a good, paying job, and how because I could not find purpose and meaning in it anymore, I shifted gears and I created something which, is more aligned to myself. So naturally, the clients that are drawn to me are more who are, seeing that I did something which was courageous and bold in line with my purpose. And that's why they want to do the same and they come to me. So again, the foundation of my business and service is rooted in my purpose and is rooted in my story. And we see the same across, different brands, different examples. And what storytelling basically does is it also makes you not only authentic and genuine, it helps you connect, it makes you memorable, it also helps you stand out. Because not everybody does that. Not everybody has a purpose that, is inspiring, that is motivating. So it really gives you a distinct competitive advantage, makes you a visionary in your field. And also, more and more, as we are seeing millennials and Gen Z come into not only the workforce, but becoming consumers and buying products, we see that this is what they want. So multiple research after research, we see that companies that have a social purpose is what millennials connect with. So to the extent that more than 75% of them don't want to do business with companies who don't have a clear purpose or who are not making a positive impact to the society. They would not buy products or services from brands or companies who are not clear on their purpose. They would not work for companies who don't have a clear purpose, and even if you think of your own favorite brands, you might see, be it Apple or Starbucks or whatever your brand is, that beyond, let's take Starbucks for example, beyond that coffee, you also connect with the experience, the overall experience. So it's not just that, okay, Starbucks coffee is great. When you enter the cafe, the way you're greeted, the way people talk to you, how personalized the service is, how the overall ambiance is, how the packaging is, how the store environment is, every single thing plays a huge role. And it helps you connect with that brand, resonate with that brand, and have an emotional connection. So this is why branding is important. I would stop here for a bit and pause and see if there are any questions, any thoughts, or if you want me to continue going, I can.
How do I really come up with that story? You know, say I'm speaking on behalf of, you know, a woman in business. How do I, as a startup, develop my story?
So it depends. It depends on your product and service, whether you want that story to be a product story. So the reason I was giving my example is because I am my own product, and that's why that story is my story. But let's say if somebody is selling perfumes or soaps or cosmetics or whatever, that the story does not always need to be their own personal story. They can also create a story around their product. So for instance, it could be where they're, and it could be aligned with their passion. Let's take a hypothetical example. Let's say somebody's really into sustainability and, you know, clean stuff, organic, and no sulfur, no paraben, and no silicone, and all those things. So this is their lifestyle, that's their approach, and that's why the products that they're sourcing and selling, they're really passionate about it. So they can create a whole chain of story on how they practice it in their own life, and people see that, and the products that they're getting are really organic and clean and all of that, and how it links to their business. And that's why they will become much more reliable, authentic, and people will see it. Because the biggest thing with small business owners is that you are small. So you start small, you start with your own network, with your friends of friends. So your business grows and develops through word of mouth, through referrals, through who knows you, who trusts you. And hence it's very important to align your product service with your own story and live it and be authentic and genuine and honest about it.
What does perception mean when it comes to the brand of my business? What does perception actually even mean?
So perception is basically the image, what people have about your brand, about your business, about your product, service, whatever it might be, in their mind. So, you know, the reality, okay, so this is my phone. The reality is that it's an iPhone 7. It's old, I need to change it. This is the reality, and it's not working, but I might love it. I love it. I cannot do without it. I think that it's great. I think it's even better than any other phone out there. That's my perception. I think it's better than a Samsung and Android, any other brand. That's my perception. It might not be true, but it's my perception. So when we say perception is reality, we need to make sure, one, we are very well connected with our consumers and we know what they're saying. We know what their perception is, and hence speaking to them, having focus groups, talking is very important. And two, we believe it because their perception is what matters. So our product could be the best product in the whole world, but it doesn't matter if our customers don't see it that way. And hence it's important to make it see it that way. So once we speak to them and let's say we realize there's a huge gap between our desired brand reality or perception and what consumers think, we have to bridge that gap. And we have to find ways through which are through our communication, our marketing, our sales, all our efforts to bring that gap closer. It's the same with people, right? So I am a certain person, you might perceive me as a different person. There's a gap between how you perceive me, how I perceive myself, and how I am in reality. And we always try to bridge that gap as we go on with life.